team, I want to just broaden that question out maybe to each of you and just think about, just how are you thinking about tariffs in general impacting certain stocks of the portfolios on a scale of 1 to 10? Is it a 0? I'm not really even thinking about it. It all comes in the wash. 10, no, I'm laser focused understanding companies that are deeply impacted by potential tariffs, whether they're either impacted from or put on by the United States or in retaliation put on from other companies.
Yeah, so for me, it's a 6. I would, and I should say that Monday it was like a 7 or an 8 because it
Okay.
looked like we had very imminent
Yeah.
tariffs that were coming and going to hit North American supply chains, et cetera. But I'm still paying attention because China didn't get an exclusion and they had some retaliatory tariffs. I spent some time in the cloud industry, the semiconductor industry, and that has an effect there. So to put this in perspective, though, nothing overnight. I mean, I'm not going to make any decisions on any kind of tariffs until I see a quarter or two of results where management is discussing how they're going to react to, let's say, elevated raw materials costs or prohibitions on what they can export, what the
Yeah.
plan is. I think that's a better way to go about it than what most of us had, this initial reaction, which is, wow, the market is way down. I wonder what's going on with my companies. We've been through this before, 4 years ago in the previous Trump administration, and I think we all learned from that tariffs take a little bit of time to work their way through the system, and you have time as an investor to
Mm.
evaluate the impacts and make any decisions you need to.
Matt?
Yeah, I mean, for tariffs, I would take everything with a big grain of salt. And I'm personally looking for buying opportunities right now in the market that with just one big example, home builders. One of my
Yep.
favorite companies is Dreamfinders Homes. That's one of my largest stock investments in my,
DFH. Yep.
yep, I believe that's number 5 in my portfolio right now. It's
Mm.
a company I really love. I love the management. They took a big hit on Monday morning when tariffs were going into effect. And it was really tough to figure out why. And it's because all of their lumber comes from Canada.
Yeah.
So the kind of sneaky tariff plays like that are where I'm really trying to pick up, and as far as just kind of like don't blow things out of proportion. Prices aren't going to go up quite as much as you might think, even if tariffs go into effect. One great example I read before we came on here, let's say you wanted to go buy a case of Corona, which is imported from Mexico. The actual cost of that product would be, roughly 5% higher if that 25% tariff were passed on, because that's only on the wholesale cost of bringing that into the country. It wouldn't need a 25% markup. The markups you're going to see on the shelves and things like that, and the actual impact on sales are not a 25% increase or anything like that people need to know. So, short answer is that I'm really looking for opportunities in kind of sneaky tariff plays and ones that where people think that the effects are going to be a whole lot more than they actually might be.
Yeah, I'm probably in the 3 to 4 range. I think they kind of wash their way through and how it kind of all impacts the various companies, how the companies either pass prices on, absorb margins, get more efficient. But clearly margins are important for the market. The market has to continue to grow for the market multiple to be earned. So those margins are important. But I think overall, companies have just really been, especially large companies, like a company like Walmart or Amazon, they become so much efficient in their supply chains. So I don't worry overly too much. It does get me interested in supply chains in general and who's going to win from that spot. And like you mentioned, housing, Matt, I think a company that I've not bought into yet, but I think is interesting is Trex, TREX, the deck composite maker, because they source so much internally in the United States from recycled products, plastic bags, and that kind of stuff. And then they have plants and facilities that turn that into their composite decks, and it's really done primarily here in the United States. And so that worry isn't so much, and they sell a lot in the United States. The bigger worry for Trex is just what is the housing market in general, both new builds as well as renovations. And right now, Matt, as you mentioned, that's just a little bit of a struggle for the market.
Yeah, and I totally forgot to give a number. I'd say I'm at like a 3 or a 4
Yeah.
as well.
Okay.
Forgot that part of the answer.